What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the For Us podcast, the podcast for you.
And for us.
I like your dress.
You do?
I do. Why are you so shocked?
Because you always tell me not to wear this dress because it's kind of like, it's a little bit low cut.
Always a strong word. I just say, babe, is there anything else? But I like it today.
Actually, you told me not to wear this on camera because it's like... Yeah, but now here I am.
I like it because our guest, our very special guest, she has a dress on too, and you guys are both...
Yeah, I wore a dress because she is a dress girly, okay. I feel like.
Okay. Well, you guys are in for a big treat today. We're in for a treat as well. We are in Dallas. We're on the road. I keep saying it. We are not in our studio. I don't know when we'll be in our studio.
They probably think that we don't or never will be at this point.
I want to be a professional podcaster, and I can't because I don't have a studio.
Professional is crazy.
Why is it crazy?
That's just so funny. Is that a term?
I'm using it.
Okay. We're
about to have some professional podcasters.
That's true. Yeah,
it's like, they're like, can you just tell us who? Anyways, you guys are in for a treat. Today we have Kaelin and Kyrah Edwards, the Edwards family. We're in their living room.
Do they want to be the Edwards family still?
I know. What are you guys?
Wait, I'm like, when should I start talking?
I know. Welcome, you guys. Hi.
Oh, we're
Hi.
on.
We're good now.
When should I start talking?
It's fine. And it's starting now.
You know, you can call me K-Money.
K-Money, I like that.
K-Money.
K-Dog.
I brought out some sneaks for y'all. You know, I don't wear sneakers.
You're not a sneaker guy.
He went street style because of y'all.
And I went street style.
Okay, and I tried to match your vibe. That's perfect.
That's okay. What do you consider your style to be?
I tried to go preppy in high school.
Nice.
And
Not tried,
He was.
Yeah,
like, wear suits to school.
Yeah, suits.
I used to wear
dress
dresses to school.
clothes. I'd wear boat shoes, and we was nowhere near no water.
Wow.
So,
you guys went to the same high school or you didn't?
No.
Okay, but did he dress like that when you guys were dating? The preppy?
Oh, yeah, before and while.
You like that?
That's how I pulled her.
I thought it was different.
Okay.
I thought it was cute.
No. That's not really an answer. Different. What that mean? Was that good or bad?
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I could pull you in this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I dressed him. This is me.
Nice.
That's good.
I've been seeing you guys been shopping at Lulu.
Oh, yeah, I saw you got put on to Lulu.
You've been okay, but here's the thing. I'm a Lululemon dad, but I can't be.
You are?
Babe,
you
let me
have
finish.
Okay,
I have one. I have two.
Not you. I'm a Lululemon dad too.
It has two things.
I have two things, and I consider myself a Lululemon dad.
Okay.
After you got your first piece, you were like Lululemon guy.
I can't tell me nothing. $150 for some shorts? Okay.
Period.
If you
Done.
don't have the little bag, we reject your membership.
I don't have a bag, and I think all of you guys have a bag.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you carry the bag like from Lulu as a tote at all?
I think I've done it once or twice.
You can have an honorary membership.
The red bag?
Yeah, or any
The red or the black one.
Yeah, whatever color.
Can I be honest? I used to think, because I went to like all white high school, middle school, elementary school. I'm white. It's like, Josh, what? I
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Professional white podcaster. Love that.
Stop.
I went to all white school, and I envied it was some dudes too, but like the white girls, they always brought their lunch in the Lululemon red bag. And I was like, wow, you guys have a lot of money.
Wow.
I wish I can bring my bag, and I'm just bringing my brown paper sack.
I legitimately did not know about Lululemon until I was like 20.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know it even existed.
Was it big in your school?
We didn't have one. No.
Got it. Okay.
We didn't have
Has
one
it
in
been
our
around?
town.
I thought it was new.
I thought it was new too.
All girls I knew in high school were wearing it.
Really? Okay, I knew about it in high school, but I didn't wear...
No, y'all was wearing them pink yoga pants.
Oh,
pink?
Period.
Oh, pink Victoria's Secret.
P-I-N,
I thought you meant
yeah.
like actual pink.
No.
Hey, them pink yoga
The yoga
pants.
Got your boy
That's
in
how I got
trouble. And bro. And now
That's how I got
yoga
hit.
pants are back now, right?
They are. Yeah,
Okay,
that's crazy.
so
Oh, Lord.
Rebranded as flare leggings.
Yeah, flare
Went
leggings.
to jail for that.
Is that what the kids call them? Or like,
flare.
They're
That's just what they call
flare.
them now.
Yeah, flare leggings.
do
They're
y'all,
yoga
do y'all
pants.
claim Gen Z or millennial?
We just talked about this.
We did?
Wait, do you even have an option?
I'm sorry.
I think you have
Sorry,
an
sorry,
option.
sorry.
Like, which one do you relate to the most?
Because
Like,
we're
our age.
1996. I think the cutoff is
It's somewhere around
97.
there.
97. Oh, I'm claiming millennial.
Okay.
Okay. What about you, Sav?
Can we explain the difference? Because I don't like.
Well, what you mean?
I don't know.
I
Like
think
what?
Gen Z is like
Gen
they
Z,
grow up
yeah.
with phones.
Gen Z is everyone.
I don't know.
Right now, that is.
You said you're claiming Gen Z.
I'm claiming millennial. Not a hard claim though, because I'm right on the cusp.
I guess it kind of depends, like what you're into, like what has stuck with you, like Gen Z type things or more like millennial type things.
I guess I don't really know actually.
You're a millennial.
Yeah,
I am.
that
I was
was
gonna say, that was a millennial
Okay,
thing.
I don't know. Yeah, so okay, I'm okay. Millennial then, I guess.
I claim millennial.
He's boomer. Like,
No, I have some boomer traits too though, where I'm just like, no, what are y'all doing?
Bro, what?
Wait, what do you guys think I claimed?
Gen Z.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. Though.
Gen Z.
No, I can't take it as a slight.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's definitely not.
We didn't have to do an intro, but these two right here have we become friends with them over the past few years now, and it was so funny. We were here last night, and we were just chatting about our friendship. The most probably candid that you could talk about a friendship. Like, we literally were explaining to each other how we just didn't like each other in the beginning, but like we didn't know if we liked each other in the very beginning, which is
I feel like that's every friendship, but people won't say it.
Right.
Like, they'll just act like they're best friends or that they're friends already, but it's like, no, like, I don't know you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like my biggest struggle is I'm terrible at like social cues. So in my mind, I'll be like, okay, I want to say something super nice and like not feel like I'm attacking them, but then I'll be like, so are you using me or not? Like, it's like it never comes out right. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I suck at social cues, but yeah, you have to just, I feel like, go for it and just say what you think.
I just feel like we'll have these conversations, right? And then we gonna leave, get in the car, and then have the real conversation.
I want to hear that.
Talk about it.
Where I'm starting to think now is like, okay, what if we just brought that car conversation to the room?
Yeah. And you literally eliminate so much, what's the word? Just the fluff when you have those conversations. Like, you can become best friends almost at that point. Once you're having those conversations, straight like that, because last night we got in the car. Our situation is different because we be going through our Dallas withdrawals from time to time. So and you guys obviously come up in those conversations.
The regret. Y'all left.
Y'all were like, oh.
We're driving in, like, this is our city that we lived in too. You're like, oh my gosh.
What do we do? It was you on the way here today. You were like, oh, it's so nice.
I know. It's
I'm like, babe.
Yeah, she literally was like, yeah, babe, it is. And she kind of just like,
let's keep it moving.
We're not talking about this. But anyways, these are those friends. But before they were our friends, these two were are the OGs when it comes to social media. And I want to talk about this just briefly because they've just been on social media for so long.
So guys, before we left for our trip to Dallas to shoot this podcast episode, I was like, I need to order HelloFresh immediately so that way it's ready on our doorstep when we get back. I love that it's just like so customizable, and like we've been traveling a lot and I'm able to like easily skip a week and just schedule whenever I want the meals to come. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. I also feel like HelloFresh just makes it actually doable to get a home cooked meal on the table. I personally love their quick and easy options because they have 15-minute meals. Like, tell me that's just not the best news you've ever heard, that you can get dinner on the table in 15 minutes. It's definitely been game-changing for us and even for Josh because he can help me chef it up in the kitchen. Another thing I kind of struggle with is falling into a recipe rut. Like, I feel like I just don't know what to cook. So I love that I can just go on the HelloFresh app and there's such a variety of recipes and they vary from each week. So I just feel like I don't ever get bored or burnt out. As you guys already know, we are HelloFresh stands over here. So if you guys want to try HelloFresh, just go to HelloFresh.com/54us and use code 54us for 50% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/54us and use code 54us for 50% off plus free shipping.
But if you watched any prank, you watched any challenge, if you watched obviously daily vlogs, their stuff was coming up top of the recommended page. And we were obviously one of those people who were watching and like inspired us to do the challenges and the pranks. And Savannah would always joke and always ask me like, babe, is it real? Like, is Kaelin actually crying?
No, you guys, before we started doing pranks, like any prank we would watch for like inspiration, like whatever, I'm like, okay, no, like this one's real. Like, it has to be. And Josh is like, Savannah, no, like it's not.
Wait,
I'm
so
like,
you knew the whole time?
Oh, from the jump.
Wow.
Like, I studied YouTube. And
I'm like, no, this is real. All this stuff is real. Like, I was convinced. And it's funny because I'm like, now knowing that like we stage all of our pranks, I'm like, okay, but I believed everyone else, so like I see why people believe us.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right.
But anyways.
It was so easy to just turn that camera on and like we could be movies. We can be in a full TV.
That's what
show.
I said. I'm like, I think, yeah.
No, literally. I agree.
Wait, I have a question. This is such a throwback. 2017, 2016, what is the behind the scenes before y'all turn that camera on to shoot? Let's go specific. Y'all, I think most viral prank in the car, crying. I don't know what the topic was. What does the behind the scenes look like? I'll share ours. What is yours before that?
We like to role play.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so you want to look.
That word is crazy.
That is wild. That's crazy.
That's wild. Okay.
But y'all got dirty mind. No, we like to. We can do it
like an improv. That's what y'all were doing.
Please.
Oh,
I
man.
did that on purpose. So she don't be
Not
She
on
gets
spot.
so
You
embarrassed.
can do it right now.
Okay, well, like, I can't.
No, yeah.
But that word is crazy to me
Yeah.
right now. But it kind of depended on like the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like some pranks, I feel like we were like, period. This is like it. Like they're gonna eat this up.
Yeah.
Like they're being fed.
And you
today.
knew what to say, what to do.
Other times we would want to have like a storyline with it. Well, mainly he would. And I'm just kind of like, like I'm just a YouTube pranker, like whatever that is. I don't know. I kind of just stumbled into this role because my boyfriend did YouTube. So I was like, okay, now I do YouTube too, whatever. And so a lot of times before our videos, like we would be like not on good terms. Like we would kind of be like going back and forth because I wouldn't do the video how he wanted to. And then sometimes
Don't look at me.
That's us. for
sometimes
sure.
in a lot of our pranks, like I would start with the camera and then he would have the other camera and then we would come together and then do the scene, the prank together. But then like my clips were not up to like his standard. And then that would like really frustrate him and he'd be like, what are you trying to do?
I can't let you speak for me on that one.
Well, in my opinion.
It's
Yeah,
not necessarily like my standard. It was more so like my vision. So
Right.
I think a lot of times, just I guess in creating and then in leadership in general, it's like, how do I communicate my vision, and then like how do we make that come to life? So a lot of times, like what I had in my head, if we weren't like matching that, and what I had in my head was what I thought would work. Because like, okay, we throw ourselves back. It's 2016. It's in the fall. I go on YouTube. I see so-and-so just uploaded a prank. So-and-so just did a video.
Quickly.
And it's starting to pop.
Yeah.
So nowadays, I know people be like stealing stuff on TikTok.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
People don't like to give credit. We never was giving credit back.
No,
No.
everyone did the same
You stole
thing.
the thumbnail, everything.
Yeah, everything.
Sometimes the plot, like,
Shamelessly. And it was
Yeah.
just like,
It was a thing to
understood.
It was
do.
a thing.
Yeah.
So-and-so just uploaded a prank. All right, bet. How can we do that exactly
but better.
in our way?
Yeah.
So-
But then, I feel like you were like in our way, but then you would try to communicate to me. But I have a completely different brain of how I interpret what he's saying.
Yeah.
So then I would take the camera, go in my car, do my little part, and then he would be like, that is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you messed up very often, though.
No, but I feel like it just wasn't what you...
We've definitely experienced that for sure. Like I feel like Josh has something in his head and he'll articulate it to me, but
I wouldn't do
then
it well.
I do it and then he's like, no, that's not it.
No, like, yeah.
Like same exact. I literally know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Do you, okay, now, like, when you guys are doing the vlogs, what was that switch with? Was it a conversation to where we were just like, okay, we're going to do the daily vlogs. Kaelin, I want you to head him. Or was it like opposite? What was that conversation like when it was just like, we're not doing those anymore?
It was more natural. Like when we started doing vlogs, like it's what people think that we transitioned to, but like we started off doing vlogs.
Doing vlogs?
Yeah. So,
Did you throw the pranks in them?
So we started off doing vlogs, and then we transitioned into pranks and challenges.
Just pranks.
But I privated the old vlogs. I'm always privating videos. All right, deleting stuff, re-uploading it. So if you gonna watch something from us, if it's up right now,
Yeah.
go watch it.
Yeah.
It might be gone.
Right.
You never know. But so we were doing those in college, and then we started doing the pranks. Those went viral, so we privated all the old stuff. Those have still been privated.
Yeah.
Like people still haven't seen them. Like 7 years later, did the pranks and all, and then starting to vlog again. Wait, first we started doing like the story times, and then we continued the story times in real life or in real time through the vlogs.
Yeah.
And just went from here's our past, telling you about it, to now we're documenting our day to day. So it was a natural transition because we were already vlogging before we started doing pranks and challenges.
Well, really, you were vlogging, and I was just kind of a second character.
Did you like doing the vlogs with Kaelin?
I used to cry.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wait, you don't remember that?
To
About
like-
when?
Like when we were dating and like in
Okay.
college, and he would be like, "Oh, just try holding the camera." Like I would like.
Cry?
No, I have cried about it before. I definitely remember that.
No,
Was
that's-
it because a lot of eyes were on you guys?
It's just I didn't want to. Like I had a lot of
no one was
social
watching.
anxiety
No
at the
one really
time.
At that time, yeah.
But it was still just like, what do you mean hold the camera and talk to? Like that's freaking weird.
Oh,
dude.
that was literally me to a T.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because I wanted to start YouTube like initially, but then once Josh was like, okay, like
Yeah.
vlog, like do. I'm like, no, you say it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
Well,
mean?
I
Like
didn't
this is
even watch YouTube
me either.
until I like he was like download YouTube and like find somebody you like.
Yeah. Well, people like we're talking about this now in 2023.
I know. That's
But,
why I'm
like,
so curious.
to grab a digital camera and start talking to it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not
Like,
the
people
normal.
weren't doing that.
No.
You walk into a store doing that, they'd be like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So to like ask her, hey, let's document our life, and I want you to be in it since you're my girlfriend. I want to like, have this in the future. It was just strange. So like, I remember your timidity. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I just went back and watched the first vlog that you ever appeared in.
Whoa.
And it was like, it almost kind of made me a little emotional. I did cry that stream. I've been pretty emo. But it was just weird seeing you like, covering your face and hiding to like now you carry. Like,
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
seriously, that's
a breadwinner,
crazy.
like we love a girl who takes care of her husband.
For sure. Yeah, we got breadwinner wives,
I'm
bro.
just here, bro.
Straight like that. Straight like Kyrah. So what is me and Kaelin talk, and I kind of know, and you can chime in too, Kay. But Kyrah, what is your view on YouTube right now? You're on YouTube every single week, mom vlogs, avid mom vlog watchers right here. TikTok.
It's the fact that you watch them with me that I love.
And I am not ashamed.
No, last night I asked them like, "Oh, who do you guys like watch on YouTube?" And Josh was like, "Can I be honest right
Straight
now?
like that.
We watch you on the TV."
Listen, and let me say this because, and I know there's some crossover between our audiences. I miss the Edwards family vlogs. I miss watching the vlogs. So this is the closest thing that I'm going to get to it.
I feel like a lot of your guys' people probably feel that way too.
Definitely,
Like,
and they watch.
Probably, yeah.
yeah.
What is your what's your whole take on YouTube right now? You're posting literally every single week. You're vlogging every single day. I just saw you vlogging not too long ago. How does it feel to you? Because we all have different views. You guys have been on it for so long.
I think that like because we kind of had our pop so many years ago, I feel like not very many YouTubers get a second chance or a second go. And I honestly, like, my outlook now is I'm just like so lucky anybody even stays around and like continues to just watch the vlogs of me by myself, because when we were like first married and like dating and doing pranks and stuff, I'm just a completely different person. Like, I look back at those videos and I'm like, I literally don't even know who that is. And then sometimes I look at myself now and like watch my vlogs back and I'm like, it's so weird. So I just feel super blessed that people have even really given me a second chance, because not really any YouTubers get a second chance at being on YouTube and like still making money from it and having like their whole livelihood come from the platform.
Do you feel like you have to go the short form route like everyone's doing to become just kind of relevant again, quote unquote?
I feel like, I mean, like, I think people probably say like I probably should, but one thing about me is I kind of just hate like some of the societal norms, and I think I'm kind of hard-headed in that way, where I'm like, I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
But like, it's also not bad to use short form content to like help people know about you, or even like reactivate our old audience, because being on TikTok, like, people will be like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you guys are still together, legitimately thought you were divorced, like all this stuff.
No.
And so I'm like, hey everyone, like,
Right.
if you want to come watch me, like, come watch.
So
Yeah.
you guys aren't divorced. You guys are
No.
together.
Have we thought about? No.
So you guys aren't divorced.
No, because we see those comments too on you guys' thing. Everyone's like,
Wow.
"Oh, y'all are still together? Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
That's crazy.
You're still with that guy?"
I call cap on them. Is
Word.
it weird if I hold this like
It's
this?
not
Yes.
weird.
I just kind of want to be strange. All right. This is like those.
I wish
engagement-
we had it's podcast on the road,
Look,
so
y'all
we
talking
don't
to a
have the
YouTuber
stands.
Who've been doing? I'm trying. This is engagement farming. Somebody don't comment about this.
100%.
I call cap on them. You know
Okay.
why? Because of all the couples they could have been watching back in the day, I know them pranks looked real, but cats out of the bag, they're fake.
Right.
Ain't no way they thought we was gonna break up. Not us. We have never gave those shaky relationships.
We literally met when we
call
were
cap on them.
11.
I'm not accepting it.
11.
People don't
11.
remember.
Like I'd be,
And-
I'd be flabbergasted. They'd be like, "Oh, how are y'all still together?" I'd be like, "Did you really get? We ain't one of them."
No, we have, no, and like, we started dating when we were both 15, I think. Or
That's
no, you were
crazy.
16, I was 15, but our birthdays are like 2 months apart, and we never broke up. Like, never
Go
took a
off and
break.
on. I'm like, this is sis
Nothing.
right here.
I'm like, what do you
on-
mean?
this
You thought we
is
broke
sis.
up?
Siblings are
Like,
dating.
This is like family. This is my sister in Christ. Like, Kyrah is so. It's just I just cannot imagine it without you. So I'll be
Right.
like, is that even an option? For
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do?
I feel like people just think that like YouTube couples aren't real. Like
Yeah.
they're
Well, they-
like
they
you're
stopped
just
being real.
Yeah, no,
very
that's true. Like there are a lot I think that kind of ruined it for
Like some people
us.
just opportunistically got together so that they could be a couple on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
That
we
was
all predate that.
before.
Like
Right.
it
Yeah.
wasn't an industry. There wasn't a market for it. Like we all
Yeah.
kind of just like stumbled into, hey, we're just documenting what we're doing. We just happen to be a couple. Wait, wow, now we're all going viral because everybody likes watching couples.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like when we was in 7th grade, we wasn't thinking about doing a challenge or a prank or like that stuff didn't even exist. We didn't create it.
No.
But
It
it's like,
wasn't a thing.
yeah. So that's why I think nowadays when I see, some young couples get together and then they immediately have a blank and blank channel, I'd be like, be careful.
Starting
If
off.
you was anything like me or
Yeah.
Josh,
Bro.
it causes some tension when
Yeah.
you're starting to try to create. And I don't know if everybody's relationship can withstand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
Well, let's talk about that because so with our relationships being rooted in not of the world and obviously what other people aren't, what other people don't have their relationship rooted in. With that being the case, and people not thinking that we started our YouTube channels just because seen as an opportunity. It comes with hardships. Marriage. I'm just thinking marriage and just relationships in general. What has YouTube done to you guys? Marriage, social media in general, and then we can talk about like stuff off of YouTube or whatever. But what has it caused besides, Kyrah, if you're crying, if you don't want to do a vlog or like,
Yeah. Well, for me, like the vlogging wasn't the hard part because he really took over a lot of the vlogging and I was just like the pregnant mom basically. Yeah. But I feel like when we would do like challenges or like other sit down videos, because the pranks, I feel like there was tension sometimes in those videos or like before filming and then after. Like I remember sometimes we would literally film and I would just get in my car and leave. Like it was like
Wow.
that. And then sometimes we would do challenges. And like remember one time we did a challenge. I think we were married at this point, and he had accidentally left in a clip of like we were literally like going back and forth and like I started crying. And that was something that happened often back then is like we would sit down to film a video and he would say something. Also, I was extremely sensitive at this point. Like I have to point that out. And I would just start crying. And then as soon as you start crying, my eyes are red. Like now we can't film for the day or you have to say sorry, apologize, and this whole thing, and then go again tomorrow. And so I feel like we've done a good job of like, if a certain kind of content is just not working for us, just being like, okay, we're gonna have to cut back on this, or we're gonna have to do something else. And then we kind of started doing vlogs, and that was just so much easier.
Yeah,
I think on us.
Can I like turn the dial? I feel like we gave him the first 15 minutes.
Let's do it.
Like,
let's do it.
Good. But like, if I'm being honest, I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like in my pride, there's some revisionist history going on. But I'm also like just learning to be like, wow, that was her experience and that was valid. Because from my perspective, I'm like, was it really that bad?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it was that bad. It was just sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just what it was.
Yeah.
I feel like we're similar in that way for sure. Like I totally
you remember that too, right?
Not like
Like
that.
leaving a clip in of like us kind of going back and forth.
No.
You don't remember that?
No. I mean, I know that it was like it was high pressure. It was like high stakes.
Right.
I know that I could be short, but I just, again, this is all from my perspective, so I'm not trying to invalidate what you felt.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I just wish I would have known that I was making you feel that way.
I don't really blame you. I think I was so sensitive. Like literally the smallest thing could set me off. Also, we're freshly married. I just am on birth control for the first time ever in my life, which is just like changes stuff too.
Oh, you're talking about post-marriage.
Yeah, like we were freshly married.
Oh, okay.
Freshly.
Yeah, it was high stakes because to answer your question, like YouTube changed our life. Like Kyrah
Quickly
and I,
too, huh?
We met when we were 11. First day of school, junior high. We dated, got back together in high school, did the whole high school sweetheart thing, every prom, every formal. After we graduated, we graduated May 2015. I turned 18 May 28th, like on my graduation day. We tried to get married December that year, but we just didn't have the money to. And we were actually, like, funny story, we were going to get married, move to Texas, and then go to University of Texas at Austin.
Wow.
Wow.
So our Texas story begins way back then, before YouTube. So now fast forward to the next year, we got married at 19 because of YouTube. So it was the funds that YouTube gave us after, going viral that allowed us to fulfill that dream of getting married. So it's like we owe it to, some of the people that are probably watching this and our entire audience, because they helped us fulfill a dream that we probably wouldn't have been able to fulfill so young.
Yeah.
Because one of the main reasons people don't get married young, I like to say sometimes they unnecessarily delay it, is because of thinking they need more money than they do.
Bro, yeah.
And it's like, who am I to say that? Because we were kind of well off.
Well, we waited too until we had money.
Yeah, we did wait. But it also wasn't as expensive as I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, it changed our life in that way. But the pressure increased because now it's like, okay, I'm making this money now. We're married. Do we stay in college? And how long are we going to be able to make this money? So now this thing that liberated us ended up capturing us. It's like, wait, this is not a stable career. Who do we know that's been doing this and how long have they been doing it? It's a new industry. We don't know if it's going to be around for a long time. So for me, I've been plagued with that type of career insecurity, waking up every day and wondering, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
And I carried that pressure into all the editorial planning, all of the planning for pranks and vlogs. And then that pressure that I'm feeling gets communicated in frustration, and it gets taken out on my partner, my wife. I was going to say coworker, but it's like we're all of that. And it's like these relationship crossovers where I might talk to a coworker at work. We've all worked jobs before this. We would talk to coworkers at work, not like we talk to our girlfriends. But now it's like, wait, I got to be CEO. I got to be producer. I got to be editor. I got to be spouse.
Yeah, now husband, newlywed husband. Yeah.
So it was just.
And then I got pregnant 6 months after we were married. So that added a whole thing to it too.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, now we're bringing a whole nother person in this as we're kids about to have a kid. Yeah.
Right.
And we're bringing them to kind of an unstable situation.
For sure.
Wow, our jobs are YouTubers.
Yeah.
And again, I cannot stress enough the fact that people didn't know that this was a career path. So it's like, even though we knew that we were making money, we didn't know how long we were going to be able to make it. But the outside judgment of just like, what are y'all doing?
Right.
You dropped out of school to record yourself?
Right.
Go to Walmart or Target?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
For sure.
I'm like, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
But just kind of kept doing that and documenting it. So
You gotta kind of be a little crazy to be doing what we do.
Honestly.
You have to. That's a tiny bit.
It's a different type of person.
It's a different type of human being. Okay, let's get uncomfortable. I like to call this section. It's like I've never had.
I
a section.
like to call this section.
I just wanna let's literally the word uncomfortable, because all I'm hearing right now with you guys have known each other for so long. You guys have had uncomfortable conversations ever since whenever you guys started dating. There is no way from here till right now in Dallas, 2 kids later, married. How long have you guys been married?
6 years. 6.5
years. And how long have y'all known each other?
Oh gosh.
What?
Since you were 11.
26.
14, 15 years.
You mean it,
Wow.
There's 100% uncomfortable things that have happened and uncomfortable conversations. And for us, we've only known each other for 5 years.
6 years.
6 years. I'm sorry, sweetheart.
It's okay.
About to be 4 years married. And we didn't start having uncomfortable. Our uncomfortable conversations were more like
I feel
right
like
before marriage.
that, and I feel like we brought a lot of things into our marriage.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
I guess it's kind of hard not to, but
Yeah.
I do feel like there are so many things that should have been handled prior to marriage that we didn't.
Yeah, hindsight is
Y'all
2020.
believe
Yeah,
in
yeah.
marriage counseling?
What's up?
Y'all believe in marriage counseling?
Do we believe in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So we've had premarital.
We did premarital, yeah.
Yes, we did premarital. My dad did our
I said
premarital.
marriage counseling. What am I?
Premarital.
Yes, we did do premarital, and we also did we actually did marriage counseling after we
Wait, you
married
said
too.
your dad did it.
Our dad did a little bit of it,
Okay.
yes. So and it's interesting because there could be a little bias.
I was gonna say, is
to
there a
it or
conflict of
whatever.
interest
Yeah,
there?
there
Yeah.
How do
wasn't.
you feel about it?
Yeah.
With our premarital stuff, you know what's crazy? I even would go to Josh's dad while we were dating and married, and I could talk to him about anything,
I
even
was
stuff
just messing up.
about him, and he would never.
Wow.
So it's actually it's a really, I think it's a unique situation because anyone else would be like, wait, they should not be doing your marital counseling.
Yeah.
And I think that there are
And
both
they
sides.
advised us to
we
see
had other
outside,
counsel
too.
as well
Gotcha.
because like it is family at the end of the day. But I will say that like I could literally go to Josh's dad today with anything and like he's gonna look at it from a biased standpoint.
Wow.
Did you go to my dad when I told you that I had been watching porn?
I actually don't think so. Honestly, I feel like with like I did go to him sometimes while dating. I had,
Yeah.
but I think that I went to him more so like once we got married because I had created a closer relationship with
crazy.
him.
You told his daddy on him.
Yeah, no, I
Straight
literally
up,
would call
straight
him
like that.
Did you feel like you was gonna get a whooping? Like obviously you can't, but did you feel like I'm gonna get a
No,
whooping?
but I will say I was frustrated, low key.
Oh, so you didn't really like this.
I don't want my parents because for me, so we're total opposites when it came to like parents. For me, I graduated 2014, left home, never looked back until recently we moved to Michigan. But I have been away from my parents ever since I graduated high school, and that not in like a negative way. That's the type of dude I am. I just want to be out, independent or whatever. And Savannah, total opposite. You did move and graduate and
Thank you.
and left LA. But your mom came with you. Savannah talks to her used to talk to her mom like every single day while we were dating, and sometimes in marriage too. And I would be like,
girl.
why are you?
Yeah, like, what's
why
going
do
on
we
here?
why is we still talking to them? Like, why? I'm here. Let's. So it was different for us to, and I didn't understand it. But
I'm like, fine, then if you don't want me to talk to my mom about our problems, then I'll talk to your dad about our problems.
Right.
That's why I bring up like it's kind
Straight
of like a funny conflict of interest because like my dad's a pastor too, right?
Yep.
And it's kind of toxic now, but Kyrah would like come to church with me when we were dating, and how did you feel about pastor, future father-in-law being?
did his dad like you from the beginning?
I didn't talk, so there was really nothing to not like about me.
Okay.
Like I when I tell people like when we dated, I literally did not speak. Like I remember we would be on the phone and I would like read the book I'm reading to him, and like that would be like my talking. That would be like my contribution. And sometimes I'm like, bro, why did you like me? Because I did not talk.
I did not talk to you.
Well, that's so intriguing to me though, because I like to figure out about people.
I'm not like other girls.
Like I know, I talk a lot like on social media and on camera, but it's funny like privately I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So like I can talk if I need to. So like the beginning of our relationship, it was kind of like I feel like I was auditioning for Kyrah.
For sure.
Really?
Like in a way, can I get this girl to like let me in so I can learn more about her? So it's been really cool like seeing you unveil the layers of like even last night we were talking and like mid conversation I looked over to Josh and I'm like I'm learning something new about my wife. And it really engaged. At first I was just joking. I'm just like there's no way she's serious. And then I'm like wait, she's serious talking about these books and everything. And I'm like I'm sorry, I'm learning something new about her, and that doesn't happen often after 15 years. So I'm like,
Right.
how have you been hiding this? Like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
So
That's so awesome too. Like to have those moments of like us just being here in the living room, being like, oh, I'm learning about my wife, because I feel like that's what keeps it. That's one of the things that keeps a relationship
kind of fun,
kind of spicy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm learning that about you, and I think that happens with us too. Like there's certain things. Not that I say that I'll learn, but like Savannah would do something like maybe brand new, or like she was just, I don't know, it could be a hobby or anything. I'm like, oh, good for you. I like that for you. That's different, because when I met you 6 years ago, you weren't doing that. It seems a little different. I have a question for you two. How did you guys receive your husbands telling you that we watched porn? I just want to know, a lot of people wanted to know your kind of response with it. I know what it was. It was very graceful in a sense, but I know you were hurt also when you found out.
Well,
how old were you guys when you told her?
We
were dating, so we weren't married.
Okay.
I was about to propose though.
Yeah.
How old were you though? Oh, sorry.
27.
No. We would have been probably 20.
21.
We would have been like 22, because we got married when we were 23.
Yeah.
So we were like about to get engaged and married. So it was like kind of right before that
2 years
season.
old.
it was
So
just like a confession, like I watched porn.
This was
Or is this like
I'm currently
watching?
Yes. So I guess we had the conversation twice or whatever, but this time it was more than that. This was like, babe, I've cheated on other girls. Everything that I've done before you, even girls that she never even knew about when I was in high school, a little bit in college. I just came clean and just told her all of that. It was one of those.
This was like a come to Jesus. I
Yes.
guess this is on my plate. If you don't reject me here, we're going to actually get married.
Exactly.
My ride or die.
No,
at
literally.
22 years old, like to where I could have.
That's pretty bold.
It's very
He
bold.
literally told me like absolutely everything about his past. And we were talking about this because I'm like, some people would not want that.
No.
And for me, like, I didn't really know if I wanted it or not, but I got it. So I was like, okay. But I don't know. I think it's like healthy. Like, I love that I know and he knows like everything about what we did prior to knowing each other.
Think of leaving me? Because I knew.
Honestly, no. Like,
Really?
I think I respected you more.
Do you want to go have another kid? I'm joking.
I respect it a
Not in
lot.
my
But I want to know.
Not here. Like, where am I pointing?
Yeah. Whoa. Out that way.
No.
Yeah,
What were
they're
you
not
saying?
doing that here. So, yeah. No. So I respect it a lot too, but I want to know, like, leading up to the confession,
Yeah.
you feel away, and then the moment the last word of the confession leaves your mouth, how did you feel? Like right before and then right after?
Well, he did over text, right, too?
Yep.
Yeah,
it
over
was,
text.
yes.
Oh,
it
so
was.
you really
It was
simmering-
in my notes app for like maybe a week before that.
Wow.
I had everything typed out. This is the
Like
girl.
timeline,
this is the
dates,
chick.
everything.
This is when I was watching porn. This is that. This is that.
And you know when
Take it.
when the text gets, or the notes, the text gets so long that when you send it, then you have to click it and it's like a PDF almost.
Yeah, they used to do that.
That's
Oh,
how
my
long.
goodness.
Yeah.
Why did you do it over text?
Huh?
Why did you do it over text? Was y'all distance at that time?
We were long
This is
distance.
long distance.
Got you.
Kicker. I was in full-time ministry.
Oh, okay.
Mentoring youth.
Disqualified. I'm just kidding.
You know, I
Fired.
but like hired. But actually though, I was in youth ministry, telling these kids to not be watching porn, and I'm over here watching porn,
Right.
about to propose to my wife, and it was a big moment. There was a lot of stuff that happened while we were in long distance too that it was just a lot, but I knew that something needed to happen if I was gonna propose to my
I
soon-to-be
feel like
wife.
people say like doing stuff like that over text is bad, but I actually feel like sometimes it allows you to just be like very concise and say exactly what you need without
Exactly.
getting emotional, the other person interjecting.
I agree.
I feel like that's
That
a good way
phone
to
call
do
and
it.
that FaceTime after that was crazy.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to say. So
That
I want
phone
the
call.
tea.
I mean,
But I'm saying though, I agree with that. Like people are like, don't have serious conversations over text, but like for you to be able, like this is different. Like you needed to spell every single
Yeah.
thing out for me. And if I like needed to call someone and tell them like my whole entire everything, I feel like I'd be like all over the place.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the correct way to do it.
what'd you do right after?
I don't really, did I call you?
I don't know. Actually, not
I-
right after.
so
Let's
I was
just, how
on-
did you handle it?
Did
is
you
what
care?
I wanna know.
So
I know. I'm like,
And did
you know,
know?
it's a bad thing?
yeah, like what's
I wanted to ask
my
you this. We
problem?
don't get to you. Did you even care?
No,
Like, what
so
is that?
at the time I'm on tour. And we're already going through like a lot of just like relationship issues. Like it's been so like rocky, I guess. And I get this text of like everything. And it was basically like straight up like, I want you to know this because I want to marry you and I want to propose to you. So like I need you to like know all of me or like, you know, whatever. And like I said, like it made me, I wasn't like devastated or like,
Really?
I was like, I love that you told me all of this. I don't know.
Very
And I don't
mature of
know.
you.
I feel like, and I'll say this, I was hesitant on sending it because she was working and
Yeah.
Lily probably gonna have to go on stage that night, and I knew that whatever I'm about to say, you're gonna have that baggage that's gonna be in your brain all night on stage. But I was just like, I gotta let you know this, so I was hesitant in sharing that. But
I feel like the watching porn thing though too for me, like I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but like I wasn't like, I didn't feel like attacked by it or directly affected because we're not having sex, so like I didn't feel, I don't know. I've
You
heard
kind of
people
understood like why he would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've heard like women talk about it and they're like, they feel threatened because like they're having sex with their spouse or whatever. And then they're watching and they're like, wait, well, you know what I'm saying? But like
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, I don't know. Like,
and that's why it's scary. I'm not speaking for UK, but it's scary for me to say that because I'm like, okay, when we do have sex, I literally don't want her to be thinking that I'm thinking about porn or something.
Right.
Like that's my internal when I'm admitting this to you or whatever.
Yeah.
And for you to say that, you know, it didn't affect you like that, you're not crazy.
I don't know. I feel like for me, I literally just gained so much more respect after like
Did he
receiving
say
that
that
text.
he had been watching porn in the past, or was it like currently, or like this was the last time I did it, or whatever?
I think it was like currently,
was
like something you were struggling
I'm
with.
bugging. It was definitely currently. And
Wait,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, it was
shocked
probably
that
like,
you were not bothered by that.
yeah.
Well, can we park right here?
Go, come on.
At this stage of vulnerability.
Let's go.
Because this is where I want to start.
Go for it.
I don't want to do a lot of
Right.
And the reason we're asking like pointed questions like this is I feel like as Christian influencers, and even like in your past, Josh, as a literal Christian influencer, like you were in an authority position, a lot of times we're incentivized to kind of generalize things that can be specific. And it's because people aren't asking questions. Like a lot of times people don't confess because people aren't asking. I hid behind the fact that nobody's asking.
Yeah, I
Nope.
never
So
asked.
I'm not telling.
Right.
I'm a PK. No one's thinking I'm doing
So
this
now
stuff.
I'm like,
yeah.
I know how dirty I am. So I'm just going to project whatever questions I feel like need to be asked to me that I'm going to confess about now
That's great.
to other people. So that's why we're asking y'all, like, in our relationship, this is how we communicate. Like, okay, it's one thing to say, like, oh, I used to watch porn. But I'm the type, especially if, like, we bros, I'm like, when was the last time? And I expect you not to lie to me. I'm not asking you that, by
No,
the way.
that's it. That's it. That's it.
So that's why we're like, okay. The other thing I think that matters, too, is, like, were you saved at the time? Like,
Me?
because what we're trying to get to is, like, why didn't you care? Because when we start sharing our story,
It's quite different.
it's like,
Go.
It be
Yeah.
making us like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I wanted to confess, but now I'm thinking I shouldn't even say it.
Right.
I like go harder.
I was saved at the time. We both were.
Okay.
But I don't think I was anywhere in my relationship with the Lord, faith journey. Like everything was nothing like it is now.
And I will say me being in full-time ministry at that time, it tainted her view on a lot of different things. Being a newer believer.
Because at this time I'd only been saved for like 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay.
Like fully saved or whatever. And my situation at the church that I was at was toxic. We shared about it. It just wasn't right at all. She sees that. I'm also was trying to persuade her to move out here so we can get married. Like I'm in full-time ministry. I'm getting a check every other week. Like, babe, like I got benefits. Come out here.
Yeah.
And then I come clean about I've been doing this.
And make you like a fraud.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's what the best of Christians.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
literal leaders are like that. And it's like, as a matter of fact,
No.
if more leaders were honest.
Right.
Exactly. So I think that, and me saying that, and then I think I ended that conversation saying, "Babe, I'm leaving. Because I ended up moving a couple months after that. After some things happened, I'm like, I'm leaving. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to move back to LA." And I think that helped with you making your decision to not be so bent about it or
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't know. I also think we'd already been through so much like in our relationship that I don't know. I don't know why I wasn't bent. I don't know.
Were
I
you
think
doing the
it's-
same thing?
Doing the same thing.
Yeah, like when had you cheated on past
Right.
partners and stuff? Is that why you were kind of like, oh well, same? So
Actually, yeah. Like I feel like in high school, like I have like a very like we've shared about this a little bit, but like my past is like crazy. So maybe I just had the grace and I was like, you know what? Like I've been there. Like I can see like I've been literally in your shoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
And
think
we
that could
also
be.
had like a what's the person? Like our second mom. She's like a middleman who had went through something similar on a different scale, divorce wise. She's a full grown woman or whatever. And I know she was in your ear a lot and helped us and walked us through it in a sense. And for me though, I only had like a couple people, mainly because I didn't want it out. I didn't want it shared. I did not want to tell anybody about my situation or whatever. And that was lonely in itself. Okay, but I don't want to go too far.
Yeah.
How was that with you two? And you don't have to share much. Is this in the book?
yeah, it's in our book.
Go read the doggone book.
Yeah. So just give
we
it
didn't get
taste.
to like go in though, and I don't even think on our podcast we've never like really
Spoken
kinda
at length
explained.
about it. Yeah.
The reason we ask all those questions is not to like hound on you guys, but it's going to be like the foundation for the context of our complicated situation. And I'm sorry, but if you're in this stage, it's gonna be a tough time in your
little
relationship.
trigger. Yeah,
Right.
go for it.
So if you're watching this on speaker and you're not ready to confess, don't like
Put
turn
the
this in.
Turn it
AirPods
off.
in now.
So for me, like I'm a PK,
Yep.
right? So my entire life has been being a professional Christian, and to be a professional Christian, you just got to look the part. You don't actually got to like live the life.
Talk about it.
So for me, I was so focused on like performance, almost at sometimes like legalistic, like I'm just trying to do the right things, but I didn't have like a heart change. And ultimately, I didn't like rise to the standard that, you know, the Holy Spirit can compel us to live at, but I failed to the habits that I had with my unregenerate, unrepentant heart. So what that looked like was look good on the outside. I know the scriptures. I'm the PK. We having pastors on wife and family appreciation. Everything looked good, but like internally, I'm still doing, and privately, I'm still doing what I want to do.
Yep.
So the way that manifested though was I started dating this girl. I'm doing stuff with her that I knew that I shouldn't be doing, but as long as nobody else knew about it, then I still get to keep my image. I failed to the habits of my unregenerate, unrepentant, unsaved heart.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause a lot of people think like just because you're the PK, you just born and you just saved.
Right.
Good.
My parents' faith is applied to me, and it just don't
Doesn't
work
work
like
like
that.
Yeah.
So I was dating this girl, and I guess a seed was planted. The Holy Spirit started working on me, and I ended up breaking up with her because we were doing some stuff that I started to feel conviction about. Before I didn't feel guilty, but then I started feeling convicted about it. That was weird. And I broke up with her for like a year. I wasn't dating anybody, and I was like really trying to work on myself while also kind of like dabbling back into the lifestyle that I was living before. And I met Kyrah. And then throughout our relationship, we met Kyrah.
Right.
Throughout our high school relationship, I was just trying to be a better leader. We had our intentions talk. Like the first time we had like re-met, and I just let her know like, hey, my intentions are to date to marry. I'm 16 talking like this. I ain't wasting no time. I don't need no new friends, no more friends. I'm looking for a wife. I want to get married young, all these things. And if you're not with that, hey, appreciate you. We can still be friends, but you're not for me.
Right.
She was with it, so we started dating. And throughout our relationship, I was watching porn here and there. But the way I did it was I did streaks. So some of y'all guys out there, I don't know, some of you girls too.
It was on and off.
Yeah, it's like
same. Yeah.
You know that this is wrong, so you try and stop.
Yep.
So like one time you make it a day, and then you relapse, and then you make it 3 days.
Yep.
You think, man, then you fall again.
Right.
And you make it a week, and it's like, wait, can I go 2? And then you do 2, and then you get a month. I'm a month in. I haven't seen nothing in a month.
I'm good.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
Well, teenage hormones, young hormones, plus, you know, it just wasn't working.
No.
So,
Plus the pink yoga pants.
For real.
So I went about 3 months, and we dated, I guess, for like a few years before. So you can just imagine, like, okay, I slipped up, and then I can go 3 months, and I slipped up. So I would do it in streaks, and I would just feel so much guilt and shame after I went like 90 days, and then in a vulnerable moment, just slipped up.
And during this time, we're not like kissing. We're not like all on each other.
I was gonna ask
Wow.
how did you contain that streak? Like, what were you doing to?
Oh, I had accountability
Okay.
in the worst form, which is somebody else who's struggling with the exact same thing.
Wow.
That is my exact same age. My best friend.
Yeah.
So we were, our sanctification process is happening at the same time. Like we both know it's wrong, and we have this extreme vulnerability and honesty with each other, and we just kind of keep tabs. Like, hey, how you doing in this? Asking specific questions, and just both failing.
Right.
So I had that. Okay. So then we both got girlfriends, and I remember one time in what became my office, we're sitting down, me, Kyrah, my best friend, and his girlfriend at the time, and it's the first time we had all like in a group brought up pornography and like this, and me and my friend, like, we're being honest about it, and then we kind of look over at the women, kind of like we're doing now, like,
Well,
y'all
they're
ever
really
struggled
just
with porn?
talking. Yeah, they're really just talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sitting on this side of the room, and she's sitting like across, and we're kind of just sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't even know what porn is. Like, don't know. Don't have sexuality. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you guys literally asking like, okay, well, like girls, like how is that for
Yeah,
girls?
we wanted to know.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. Like, that's just a boy
Right.
problem.
But like we were being slick though, because we were talking about it generally, because we didn't want anybody to ask us the specific questions. So it's like we're talking about it as if we had overcame
did it,
something
yeah.
Right.
that we
Or,
were
like,
still struggling with.
confessing it, but in like a very, I don't know, like at the point I didn't know how bad it actually was.
But we knew what we were doing. Like, we knew that we would make y'all think that we
That
were
y'all
just
weren't
on
doing
top
it.
of it.
Yep.
So that you wouldn't ask the specific questions. So now fast forward, some years after we get married, you had never asked me specifically about porn, whether the pastor was preaching about it, whether we heard a podcast or read a book where it got mentioned. You never pointed that spotlight at the thing that I was hiding in the dark.
Yeah.
So I could talk about it generally. Like, oh yeah, porn, man.
Porn's so bad.
90% of people in the church watching porn,
Right,
stuff like
yeah.
that. But no one ever asked, Kaelin,
Do
you watch porn? And
Right.
when was the last time?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
we-
are you going to lie to me about that?
Yeah.
And I'm not a liar. So it's like, I told Kyrah,
Don't
Straight
ask
like
me
that.
nothing I don't want to know the truth
don't
about.
ask me if you, no, I'm at the point where now I'm just going to confess it.
Right.
But I'm like, if you want to know something, I'm going to tell you.
Right.
So she didn't ask me. So in our marriage, I started getting discipled by an unlikely guy. Because I always thought, as a PK, if I'm going to be discipled, especially this is like post-YouTube, I'm thinking, it needs to be like a celebrity pastor who understands. They have influence.
Gotta be,
They're
right.
making money. I need to be discipled by something like that. Nope. It was a regular teacher dude in our small group who had told me that he had confessed to his wife that he had a porn addiction. And she had gave him so much grace, and it like changed their marriage. Like there was just no more secrets finally. So I was, he put a battery in my bag. I'm like,
let's
cool,
go.
thank the Lord, I'm about to go confess. So Kyrah's in the shower,
We're in the shower together.
and
No way.
I tell her this.
Yeah.
In the shower.
Crazy. Don't ever do that, by the way.
What was your timing, Kaelin? That you just was.
You thought
like-
it was good.
I had the battery in my
I
bag.
said,
You
where,
had the battery,
where
you
is she
right.
going to
I
be
said,
the most
this is
vulnerable?
Sis.
Yeah.
This is sis.
Yeah.
This is sister in Christ. She knows. She gonna have
understand.
grace.
Postpartum, like 4 months postpartum also.
Oh.
Okay.
Like, the Lord is doing a new thing, a good work.
Were you about to say?
I was just gonna say, you saying our stories are completely different. Okay, already I'm like, I understand, because if that would have been a whole different. I can't wait to hear, because
Been on the
that
street, homie.
would have been a different situation for me.
So I tell her, and then it's off of me and on to you. And I think you asked me a question like, why didn't you ever say anything? And I respond,
That made it worse.
you never asked.
I said, not to be my fault.
Right.
Not your
Flipping
fault,
me.
but it's like, it's lying through omission. Like, how slick do you, like, no, you can't do that. Like, you knew
Yeah.
that's something that you should have brought up, but I didn't. And I tried to get out of it by saying, like, oh, you never
You never
asked.
asked, right?
Because it's technically true.
And
but
I'm
you know
just
you still
standing there,
hide.
butt naked. Like, wow.
What a sight.
Feeling the ugliest, like
Right.
most
Wow.
rejected I could ever feel ever. Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Because you
Wow.
started with like, oh yeah, small group leader confessed to his wife, and I was like, oh great,
Oh,
like
right,
so good
yeah.
for them.
Cool story.
And like,
Cool
Yeah,
story.
that's about to be
I'm
it.
like,
Nice story, yeah.
good for them. Like, I don't know. And then I'm getting out of the shower, and it's like, well, I have something to tell you. And I said, no,
No.
say it ain't so. And so it was pretty bad. Like, I was pretty upset. Not even pretty. Like, I was very upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I said after, but I just felt like so terrible about myself. Like, I
Oh.
wasn't even really mad at him. I just felt like so ugly, so rejected. Like, wow. Because then you just think, like, what kind of porn is he watching? How
Right.
often? When's the last
Right.
time? I'm 4 months postpartum. Like, I'm just like, wow, it was probably when I, like, couldn't have intercourse when I was postpartum. And you just, like, I went
Oh,
through this
100%.
whole spiral of, like, wow, okay, well, when I initiated that one time and he didn't want to, it was probably because he freaking had just masturbated in the bathroom. Like, I start to feel like I'm piecing stuff
Went down the
together.
spiral, yeah.
It was like going to the grocery store and picking up 3 cases of insecurity and just like depositing them into our relationship.
Jeez.
Wow.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be. I could have just lied.
Yeah.
For
I
a
could have just
minute.
not said anything. So for me, I'm over here again, battery in my back, like, hey, I'm being honest. I deserve the gold star and the reward.
Right.
And it just don't happen overnight.
No.
It was like, No.
Well, I was genuinely so blindsided, and I really don't know why. Like, I had heard pastors talk about like porn and masturbation and all that stuff and like how it wasn't good, but I don't remember anyone ever saying like, wives, you should ask your husbands da da da. Only thing I'd ever heard, it was like, if you're dating a boy that like is masturbating and watching porn, like you guys need to break up, and the girlfriend doesn't need to be their accountability partner. So I was just kind of like, well, that's between him and his friend when we were dating. And then we got married. I just thought like, oh, well, now we can actually have intercourse. So like, you're not going to struggle with it anymore,
and that's
right?
not going to come in the marriage.
And I just assumed that. And I was really just ignorant to the whole, like, to how all of it worked. Cause I wasn't like a porn watcher. Like, I had masturbated in the past, and like even in our marriage I had, which I guess we'll get into that too.
Right.
But I wasn't like watching porn. So, cause I was like, I don't know. I just don't.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, well, like now we're married, so he's not either. But I just never asked him.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a that really sucked.
It really
And-
did. Cause I think, did you like expect me to kind of have that same gracious?
Yeah, I wanted you to have the reaction Sav had.
But
Right.
see, you
Am
know
I
what
different?
though? That's so different. Like, if I would have been 4 months postpartum, like, I think I would have reacted just how you did.
Yeah.
And I think it's rightfully so. Like, I think there's a way to have grace, but there's also like,
Yeah.
you have every right, I think, I don't know, to
No,
feel
I
the way
do
you
too.
felt.
Like at first, because he was like, I don't really like how you're reacting to this, and I was kind of like, I don't even know what to think, and so I just started watching like as many podcasts as I could
Right.
about like people talking about this, and a lot of people
and
were
I'm overhearing it like
well, so I'm like, what am I gonna do?
just
Right,
rubbing it
right.
in, Josh, like
'Cause
salt
it-
in the wound.
Because like, okay, our small group leaders, he said his wife reacted gracefully to us. Then I'm like, well, then I need to be like, don't cry about it.
Yeah.
Like, act
Right.
like I'm fine. He wanted like a hug. And I was like, I
Don't touch
feel
me.
like so repulsed by you. Like, I feel like I
Right.
just don't trust you. And so then I'm like watching all these podcasts, like, okay, how do I deal with this? And a lot of people were just like, if your wife is upset, like she has every right to be.
100%.
Like you, just because you're like, okay, in my mind, I've been thinking about the fact that I'm going to confess and I'm already forgiven and I've already repented. Your wife was like blindsided by this, like, bitch, she didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, I also like need to have grace from you to be able to be like, I'm really hurt by this, and like this is why. Because we talked about this in the book before all this happened. We had first gotten married. We were already having like, because we both technically saved ourselves till marriage.
We
Like,
were virgins by technicality.
we didn't have intercourse. Like, he had never seen me naked.
Yeah.
Any past boyfriends, I'd never even made out with them. Like, none of that. And so he was really my first for everything. And so when we got married, when we were dating, it was like, oh, he wanted me so much, and we were just like, it's like very high love, and you're just like, everything's amazing. Really come to find out, a lot of that's just like lust.
Right.
And so I was expecting all of that same like want and desire for me in marriage, and I felt like we got married, and it was kind of like not the same type of desire. And then I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, I literally, like, he's never seen me naked, and the only thing I could think that's different is like now he has, and he didn't like what he saw, and so whatever.
Right.
But at this point, I don't know that he had watched porn or anything. Then
It wasn't just the porn though. It's the fact that when you wait, you really don't know how to have sex.
that too.
Yeah.
That too.
But
I
even
had
know what he
no
Right.
way to communicate. I didn't have the words for any of
To
it.
say you liked it or
Yeah, and like
anything,
you would
yeah.
Google it, and it's like, explore what you like, and I'm like,
Where?
I have never done
How
that.
do I do that?
I've never, like, a man has never seen me like
Yeah.
nude. Like, what
Yeah.
do you mean explore? Like, that's embarrassing.
Right.
I have the most perfect Christmas gift for you to give somebody this holiday season. It's called Paint Your Life. You can literally order a custom-made, hand-painted portrait in less than 5 minutes and get it delivered to your doorsteps in less than 2 weeks. We literally went through our camera roll, found a picture of our family, sent it to a professional that they match you up with, and we got it at a super affordable price. I mean, if y'all trying to save some money this Christmas, this is right up that alley. It's so dope because you can customize your experience with the payment plan and just put down as little as 10%. I'm telling y'all it's affordable. They send you a video of them painting your picture. I'm gonna put ours up right here. It's so cute. She's starting on Rod's face. Like, why you start on my baby girl's face? Feels like when you're at the fair and they're painting that picture right in front of you, but the difference is they send it to you to approve before you even receive the physical painting. So y'all, this holiday season, you can give the most meaningful gift you have ever given from paintyourlife.com, and there's no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money is refunded, guaranteed. And right now, there's a limited time offer. Get 20% off your painting. That's right, 20% off and free shipping. To get this special offer, all you have to do is text the word "for us" to 87204. That's "for us" to 87204. Text "for us" to 87204. Paint your life and celebrate the moments that matter most. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Right.
It's
Like,
embarrassing to even talk about.
No,
like,
yeah,
hey, I
I-
need a tutorial to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so then fast forward, he comes clean to me, and then I'm just like, oh, that's why he rejected me, because he was actually watching other, and I'm just like, this is the worst case scenario for me. I feel like so ugly. I feel like he regrets marrying me. I feel like he doesn't like how I look, and it was this whole
Nothing
spiral.
but the devil.
Nothing but him.
And that was really hard to get out of. Like, I remember after that, some mornings he would get up before me, and I would get up just to like watch him, just to see like, is he gonna go try to sneak and watch?
Wow.
Talk about it, yeah.
The whole crazy thing is, he'd only done it twice.
I would have been like,
At
baby,
this
if I'm going to do it,
point-
I'm going to do it with.
At this point,
I got the extra.
well,
life.
I
Wow.
felt sick to my stomach, like
Okay.
no appetite, like so much anxiety. Like, does he even like me? But I'm scared to ask those questions because I'm scared of his answer. Like, I have a baby with this man now, and we just bought this house.
Wow.
Like,
Did
this
divorce
is
come up right now?
terrible.
In your head or out loud? Or
No, not at
no.
this point.
Okay.
No, I hadn't thought about.
We've never really been like.
We don't fight.
Well,
Okay.
I am like I will just have a meltdown and cry.
Okay.
That's how I am too.
That's how I am.
And then I'm like a over communicator. So like,
You probably should have bit
my
your tongue a
problem
little
is gonna
bit.
be I'm gonna over communicate, and like we don't raise our voice and
Right.
stuff like that. So we never like get to like the divorce point.
Okay.
But I guess like the closest thing that I ever got to with that is just like, did I marry the wrong person? Not that I like want a divorce, but it's just like, is there somebody else out there that would be more compatible with me? Like, we be thinking we want to marry ourselves sometimes,
Right.
But it's like,
No, you don't.
Actually, no.
Right.
Which is why I think it was so cool that I learned like more about Kyrah and her books and things. So it's like, this is kind of a whole different conversation, but I'll bring it right back.
Yeah.
But it's like, when we get married, especially young, the reason that we don't think about divorce is because I can't really see myself outside of Kyrah. Like, I spent most of my life with her at this point.
Yeah, like he spent more of his
Like a
life
majority.
knowing me than not.
Than
So
not.
you
So-
literally can't.
I don't know what that.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it.
Right.
It's not that it's not possible. I don't know how. And as far as compatibility's sake, I thought that like, oh, if I have a hobby, Kyrah needs to be into it. If she has a hobby, I need to be into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, oh, we want to like marry ourselves. Like, I want to, like, oh, it's like a bro, and it's not like that. I'm actually finding I love that she's like the polar opposite of me.
Opposite,
And
yeah.
she has her own interests because now she doesn't feel like she's lost herself.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
motherhood, she has her own individuality.
great.
But back to the porn conversation.
Yeah.
I kind of started feeling like when I confessed that it was off of me. Like, I knew that I was going to be held accountable, but I felt like she was projecting condemnation towards me, and I didn't feel condemned. Like, I knew what I did was like wrong, and it hurt me that I hurt her. But like, Kyrah doesn't have a hell or a heaven to put me in. So I was just like, I'm telling you this so that this can be day one of
Yeah.
where
Clean
we're-
slate.
Yeah, clean
Right.
slate of
Slate, yeah.
us going forward. But I feel like your reaction is continuing to like bring us back.
Which my
is
reaction-
fine, and like you're warranted with that. But it's also like, I kind of did this earlier in the podcast where she was talking about how she felt during the pranks, and her experience is valid, but at the same time, mine was too. So I was like,
Yeah.
it's baffling to me to like hear like, oh wow, I didn't know you felt like that. So in the same way, with the porn conversation, like, yeah, she was having her very valid experience, but I was also going through my very valid sanctification process. And in marriage, like, we leave, we cleave, we're going through that as one. So it's these, I don't want to say like a paradoxical thing,
Yeah.
but it's like two different experiences happening at the same time, and we can't just run to mommy and daddy.
No.
Okay? But then it took a turn.
Well,
And-
hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I feel like because it's very nuanced, like, because Christians are very big on like forgiving because you first been forgiven. So then I felt like I was forced to forgive as soon as he confessed.
Just because. Yeah.
And if I'm not, then I'm trying to condemn him or put him in a heaven or hell. And I just felt like No, but I think that there also is like realistically, I need some time.
Yeah.
Like realistically, there are going to be consequences for what you did. And that doesn't mean I don't forgive you. And that doesn't mean I'm condemning you or anything. That just means like realistically, me as a human, like my emotions, how I feel about this, how hurt I am, like all of that is valid too. And like God is hearing me cry out about that
100%.
and validating how I'm feeling. And I didn't mean to like make him feel like I just can never forgive you. But it definitely took me time to be like, I'm trying to heal now too, because I feel so vulnerable and like still trying to work up the courage to even, because if I never asked him, have you watched porn? Like I was not at all prepared to like ask him the follow-up questions that I needed to bring myself peace about the whole situation.
Right.
So I was trying to like work that up too, to be like, okay, so what does that look like now? Like when was the last time? Do I even want to know the answer to that?
Right.
Like I wasn't really ready.
Yeah. Right.
I wasn't really ready for it.
Yeah.
But
So, it took a turn because again, it's, I guess moral of the story is intent versus impact.
Okay.
So it's like her intent wasn't to make me feel like I was condemned,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what I felt. My intent wasn't to like rock her world in the shower.
Right.
Postpartum.
Right.
But that's exactly what happened.
Jeez.
Right.
And since we're living in, you know, our own kind of like reality, our own experience, we don't actually know how each other are feeling out. We don't even really know how to communicate that.
Yeah.
We weren't ready to communicate. We didn't have the language. We didn't have the questions. Like, where do you even start when you get blindsided like that?
yeah.
So I felt how I felt, and some weeks go by, and then Kyrah stumbles into my office.
When he had confessed, and then I think a few days later we were talking, and then I think you had asked me, like, have you had the same experience of like watching porn in our marriage? And I think I said no.
You told me no.
Yeah.
Did you have a feeling, or did you were just curious, or you
Well,
just wanted to?
Josh, the way I am, I'm a realist.
Okay.
We having this conversation openly because I know every single person in this audience has probably had this experience.
Got it.
So it's kind of like, I remember back in 4th grade, the whole class gets asked by the teacher, do you pee in the shower? Everybody says yes.
Yeah.
I say no.
No, you're that guy.
And then everybody
Yeah.
just kind of looks at me like,
Come on.
and I'm just
Okay.
like, no,
Come
no,
on
no,
now.
no. So the whole day I'm telling them no.
That's great, Kaelin.
And
Yes.
then
Sticking to your guns.
they're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, we already know you do. So
Yeah.
the next day I come back and I'm just like, I just kind of try and bring it up in conversation. Oh, as a matter of fact, I have peed in the shower. I just remembered.
Yeah.
So in the same way, it's this
Just
conversation
remembered.
where I'm like, whether it's, and I'm about to step on some toes, whether
Go.
it's through you going to whatever X website and watching porn, whether it's you accidentally stumbling across it on Twitter, or whether it's you reading it, girls, in these books. The imagination, all of it, lust, same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
However you come across it, whether it's a movie, oh, it accidentally, you knew the
You
movie
knew that was going to be
R-rated.
like that. Yeah.
You knew. So I applied that standard, and I'm like, okay, all of us are guilty. We all have blood on our hands. So when I ask questions like that, it's less of, I don't necessarily care about the answer. I want to see if you're going to lie to me or not. So when I ask that pointed question, like, hey, do you have an experience with this? And somebody just tells me no, I'm like, okay.
Right.
Like, I know you just lied to me. So what I wanted you to do was like say, yes, I do, and then tell me like how I confess.
I feel like in my mind, so like when he asked me that, I was just like, no. And I was like, oh, well, I just lied. But I didn't even like really mean to. It kind of just came out because I feel like I wasn't done being upset about what you
him.
had said.
Yeah. Wow.
And I said, let's not go there.
Yeah, we're not gonna
Right.
flip the
It's
switch
not
right
about me
now.
right
So
now.
then literally weeks later, as these weeks are going by, I'm just starting to think about like what my experience was like sexuality wise and like porn, masturbation, everything he told me. I'm thinking back to the conversation we had in your like makeshift office at your parents' house when your best friend was there and you guys were talking about it. And I'm like, wow, it's been in front of my face this whole time, but I've never really like thought about it. I kind of just thought like marriage would fix it and you just,
Yeah.
okay, like I was horny and now I can be horny in marriage and now it's just fine. It fixes your problems, right? Well, no. So then weeks go by after he'd asked me that and like I'm like, okay, well, I actually lied. So I knew that I needed to tell him the truth, but I was just kind of like, how am I going to bring it up? Again, how am I going to like work up the ability
courage.
to, the
Yeah.
courage to, and like what exactly am I going to say? Because I don't want to like say like, okay, I have, and then be like, that's it. I have to be prepared to tell the truth during the follow-up questions too. I am like historically a liar. Like when I was like a child and stuff, I used to lie all the time. So I'm like, that's a really bad habit I have. And like one of the more sinful parts of me is like, I will lie. So I have to like literally prepare myself to tell the truth. So weeks go by and I'm like walk in the living room and I'm like, I have something to tell you. I have masturbated in our marriage.
Wow.
And I think I blacked out after that. Like,
You
I'm like,
confessed about some other
wow.
stuff like in the
I'm
past
sweating.
too.
Oh, did I don't even
Yeah.
remember, but I'm
Yeah.
like sweating, palms shaking,
Everything.
and I'm like, finally I said it. And I'm like, okay, now what?
Now what?
Yeah, what do
I
we
just
do?
kind of
What do we
waited on
do?
your reaction because I
Yeah.
did lie, and I knew that was the part he was going to be most upset about.
Right. About the lying.
So a hypocrite
What you do?
comes walking in the room to confess the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Not the exact same
The
thing.
exact same thing
Uh-huh.
that they just got. And I have never in my life, I said, well, I'll be. I said,
Well, I'll be.
well, look who we got here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody that is just like me. And I'm just like, oh, I did not. Of course I knew.
Yeah.
Of course I knew. But I had a little bit more of that grace. And a little bit
You
more
were
of that
pretty
petty.
upset, though.
Yeah,
I should have
yeah.
been like super petty. Because we could have got away with it being that young. But I was just like, yours is a little bit different. And I don't know how you feel about this, Josh. But like, if I knew that Kyrah was, I feel like guys, I know everybody, probably not everybody, but men and women watch porn.
Yeah.
But I think what would have hurt me more is if in one of those little books or one of those little TV shows or like a coworker or something, you were having like an emotional affair. Because I know guys are visual and I know women
Yep.
are like more
Emotional.
So when you had confessed that to me, like it didn't rock my world. I was just kind of like, well, welcome to the club.
Well, and it really
There
goes
we
back
are.
to that conversation of like when you're not sexually active really before you get married and then you get married and suddenly you're supposed to have all the language for like female pleasure. And so I felt like, in a way, this is terrible too, because I felt kind of like, well, I've been doing it with you and you've still been watching porn and masturbating. So like, okay, double dipping. And I'm over here like, well, I don't really even know what I like. So I'm just doing what Google said and I'm just trying to figure out what I like so that I
Right.
can tell you.
Right.
So then I kind of like tried to still find an out and it was just kind of a hot mess.
Because for me, like, again, even with just the whole pornography conversation, in the context of, like, yeah, we know what the Bible says about lusting in your heart, looking on women, men, whatever. But for me, it was, I don't care about the act so much as I care about the trust. And the fact that you allowed me to feel condemned when you were just like me. It hurt me because I'm like, okay.
You needed to sit in yours for a little bit.
Yeah, and in retrospect, I'm kind of glad that it happened. But the way that I confessed, I feel like was different. Like mine, I didn't have to do it. There was nothing wrong. I could have just stayed in my sin.
Lied your way away.
But
Wow.
yours was kind of like, I feel like I acted as a catalyst. And if I didn't ask those questions, I don't know if you ever.
Well,
would have
our
told
small
me.
group leader, I feel like acted as a catalyst in yours.
Yeah, but he's not in our marriage, and I don't have to trust him the way that I trust you. So I was just, for me, it kind of messed with me because I'm like, oh wow, Kyrah's the type of person where you just, confess that you have like a history of lying, whether that be overtly or through omission. I'm gonna have to ask Kyrah specific questions, and then even then, I'm just like, is she gonna lie to me?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
It
like-
just, because then it's like, okay, if you lied about, then his thing, it's really interesting how it was like, I lied, but then his was like, I lied through omission. And so then it makes you question like, well, what else are you lying through omission
Oh,
about?
about,
I'm like, have you
yeah,
cheated
it's the
on
same
me?
thing.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what's
Yeah.
happening here? What
Yes.
else are you not telling me?
What else? Yeah.
I feel
So-
like we both felt that way about each other.
So
Yeah.
it was a mess, but I don't know. Do you guys believe in like deliverance from things like that?
Yeah. I definitely think that it depends. I'll say it depends. I do believe in deliverance. I do believe that you can be delivered from certain things, but I don't know. I feel like you have to go through something that'll kind of change who you are. That did change who you are or who you claim to be for you to be actually delivered for something. If that makes sense. For this, I feel like I was, when I first admitted to you that I was watching porn, we were dating or whatever, I knew I wasn't fully delivered. from it, because
Like it was in the midst.
It was in the midst. I didn't feel convicted either, honestly.
Oh, okay.
After, because I still continued to do it or whatever. I didn't even know if we shared that. I told her before when we were dating, and I still did it or whatever. And I didn't have anyone holding me accountable. But the second time or whatever, when I had someone in my ear, when I had someone holding me accountable, a male figure or whatever, telling me, hey, you should probably tell your wife, you don't be doing this, blah, 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 blah. I feel like I had to go through a deliverance process, if you will, or whatever, which for me was having someone holding me accountable, having someone mentor me in that, obviously like praying over me and things like that. So I say yes, but I don't think it's as simple as what other people might think it would be to be delivered. You know,
I kind of have a controversial opinion on
Go.
that. But
I want to hear.
I want to hear.
None of that worked for me
Okay.
personally.
Okay.
I don't believe in deliverance in this area specifically. Like
Of watching
for
porn.
me,
Okay.
I've heard other people say like, oh, they've been delivered from it, or they've been like delivered from lust. Now, frankly, I don't believe them.
I don't believe in that, the lust part.
Because I'm like, and then like we're talking about something that it's streaky. So you've been delivered up until this point
up
right
until
now.
right, yeah. It's off
but
and
you
on.
don't know what you're going to do in the future.
Right.
And I think that sometimes it's not very productive in the Christian faith for us to speak in such absolutes. It's like, oh, I would never do that. You just start living like you a
don't
teenager.
know.
I would never question if I'm going to get a divorce. You just got married.
Right.
I would never do this with my kid. But you don't even have kids yet.
Yeah.
I will never watch porn again.
Well, you're 22, so what are the odds?
Yeah.
know?
You have not experienced anything.
And some people try to convince themselves that they
Yeah.
are
That's
totally done with
That's
something.
great.
And I don't think that is helpful. Like, dog. And the reason I say that, and the reason I not push back on it, but the reason I say that is because, especially as like Christian influencers, it benefits us to be delivered and to have arrived at a certain place within our spirituality, within our walk with God, where we read our Bibles every day. We pray every day. We catechize our children. We don't struggle with porn. We don't listen to secular music. We don't watch worldly movies. And we're just perfect. And then we can proclaim that. And everybody else in the audience who never gets to ask us pointed questions will believe it. And we have them feeling like being that way is possible on this side of heaven.
Right.
And that's the brand. We got it. We got it all together. And after we like project that, we get all the credit for living that way when we really know deep down, if we had integrity and if we really was being honest, we all fall short of that.
100%. Yeah.
So when we prop ourselves up like that, we get in the situation that you were in, where we're in a position of leadership. People are looking up to us. They think that whether it be Sav looking up to her boyfriend, wow, this is the pastor's kid. He's in leadership. This is the idealistic version, the epitome of what a Christian man is supposed to be.
Right.
Or those kids in the youth group who didn't know and probably are just probably finding out that you were struggling with that. We make it impossible for us to confess. And what I believe that that God is calling us to as brothers and sisters in Christ is to facilitate relationships where confession is something that happens all the time.
All the time. That's great, Kaelin.
And I know that, you know, it might just be me idealistically wanting to be able to be a Christian influencer who can just be honest. And if I said I watched porn yesterday, people would still rock with me, even though I know they don't really want that. Sometimes I'll be feeling like the audience wants to lie to them. So I like
to make them feel good.
I like to disrupt the frequency sometimes.
Yeah, great.
So it's like, that's the reason why I'm saying, no, I don't think I could be delivered from it. Because every day, I don't let my guard down.
Yeah.
Every day. I feel like if I let my guard down this year and just thought that I would be good, I'm a lust in a way that I feel like would be sinful. So.
Well, honestly, I feel like that helps me too, because now that I'm so much more educated about the topic and all that, and like we talk about it all the time. Like, I feel like we probably should talk about like how we got through that part too, and like through that time and how just awful that was.
Right.
But I do feel like him saying like, oh, I'm delivered from it. If he was like, oh, I'm delivered from it, I won't struggle with it again. Like, so sorry to hurt you. Like, I'll never do it again. Then I would like actually hold him to that standard versus like realistically, this is the last time I watched it. This is the last time I did this. And like, this has been really hard, but now we have the communication for me to be able to like ask him when was the last time. And then even just like the fact that we both confessed it at a time that just like was not advantageous.
Great.
So like now we have that kind of like in our arsenal in our marriage too. But I feel like if you were like, oh, I'm delivered from it, I'm never going to look at, I like don't look at other women, like they don't exist, every other girl's ugly. Like that's kind of a red flag. Like,
no,
It's
yeah,
not realistic.
it's not. There's no way that that's possible.
Right.
And it's just so foundational to the faith. Like the Bible talks so much about confession, and
Okay.
I think that sometimes we overlook it because it's not going to go on the Instagram. It's not going to make you look good. And if from our position, it makes you lose status or lose authority. So we think. So we never get to practice that like every week. And for me, like we're worse because of it. Like it's so fundamental to me because a lot of people in a lot of like religions believe that you have to do better in order to be saved. You can look it up. We believe that living like a more moral life, like we can be good enough to be accepted by God.
Yeah.
When the Bible talks about our works being filthy rags, like there's nothing that we can do that can earn us salvation.
Yeah.
So on a fundamental level, it doesn't matter what we're confessing about. Because if we believe that we've actually been redeemed by the blood and the work of Jesus, then we shouldn't care about, I mean, we care about the things that we struggle in, but we should be free to confess it.
Great.
But we care about our image. We
like
care
confession
about our
should be
status.
a
Our
relief.
ego. Yeah.
So like when I said that it was off of me when I confessed it to Kyrah, I felt free to say, hey, this is the dirtiest, ugliest sin that I ever could be confessing for me. Like it was a big deal for me. But the Lord shielded me from the condemnation because there's no condemnation for those that are in Christ. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, as a Christian influencer, I apply that now too. And I know I can, or in my head, I'd be thinking like, man, I kind of sound weak. I'm always on here complaining. I have a question I'm going to ask y'all. But somebody had commented like, oh, wow, just another therapy session for Kaelin about talking about our podcast. And I'm just like, you don't see what we're doing. I'm coming on here and I'm just being honest about where I am. And I know that ain't that. I know some people don't jive with that.
That's great.
But it's like we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony. Like God is working on me, not just last week where I can come on here and act like I'm an overcomer. No, He's working on me right now and next week. And I need to be able to like hop on here and say like, hey, still working through that porn thing, or hey, still working with that lying thing, or hey, still working with that greed thing. But we don't get that type of grace. And we the Christian influencers.
That's wild. You would think being that vulnerable and saying that and saying like God is working on me now, He's gonna work on me next week. I like you saying that. You would think that would be the relatable thing that.
You
like,
think
y'all
people
at
want
home,
to hear.
They don't want to hear that.
No, they want us to be like picture
Like, lie to
perfect.
them.
Yeah.
Which would be, I guess, ideal and perfect. Because I mean, that's all what I guess reality TV is and stuff like that too. But even still, with like reality TV, they like not the drama of it, but like the dirtiness of it and stuff like that. And as Christian influencers, with us sharing that, and
I think they like it's like they put you on a pedestal. Like just like same thing with like these celebrity pastors. Like you can't mess up. Like what are you talking about? Like we're all looking at you. Like, but it's like
don't get caught either.
What's going on here? Like we're worshiping the person or like what?
Right.
Something's mixed up. Like
It's just so problematic to me because I'm like, whether they're going to extend the grace to us or not, anybody that you think is perfect, anybody that you put on a pedestal, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I look at the camera. Nobody is perfect. Even the Christian influencers that we follow.
Newsflash.
We're friends. Y'all know that we're not perfect.
Yep.
We've all been to the retreats. We've met the celebrity pastors, the people who write the books on how to overcome certain things. They still struggle about the things that y'all feel like would disqualify them for ministry. But it's like we have to be honest about what actually disqualifies people. Like, yes, there's egregious things. But like, y'all really expect y'all pastor to be perfect?
Do you think it's what these, it's just, do you think it's people saying stuff like, saying things that sound like so set in stone, like they say I always or I'll never do this again, all those things, and then getting caught or going back on their word to where people are just like, oh, well, I have every right to feel this way. Like the audience, do you think it's because of that?
I think that we all want to like follow the leader who is aspirational. Like we do better in our jobs as influencers, as authors, as speakers, when we are aspirational to people. So to a certain extent, we can hide behind being too vulnerable. Oh, not everything is for everybody. So I'm just going to keep this away from them.
Right.
When it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point even last night about like subjectively, everybody's limit is different. And yes, there is a such thing as being overly vulnerable. But we all know individually when there's something that we should probably confess publicly and sit our tail down and stop acting like we know all the answers.
That's true.
And when we don't do that, we know that that is like sin for us.
Right.
So for
Yeah.
me, like I just can't get on here and act like I've arrived when I know. And here's the thing. There are people right now that will still put me on a pedestal. And it's just like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to be there.
You didn't ask
So
So
for
you're
they're
that.
like,
literally
you're so
saying it.
brave for
So,
telling your wife that
You know,
you
like,
watching
wow,
porn.
he must have
Right.
arrived. And I'm just like, no, I am you, and you are me.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm in the audience, when I'm reading somebody, when I'm listening to somebody, when I hear them talking absolutes, I know that it's like a rhetorical tactic. 'Cause ain't nobody perfect but Jesus.
Come on.
When I hear them lie through omission, when I hear in interviews like this, the host and co-hosts and friends ask each other questions that aren't specific, I know either subconsciously or consciously they're all in on it, and I'm like, I'm sick of it.
Right.
I cannot even for a minute just sit and just have the surface level conversation when I feel like there's important work that
Yeah.
needs to be done, and none of us are condemned in it.
Right.
Well, I feel like that confession era of our marriage, because it really was. It was like, well, okay, I've also done this thing.
Yeah.
It was like really this confessional era, and then we had this like conversation of what it looks like going forward, and how there's going to be consequences to our actions, but that doesn't mean like we should feel like guilty, shame, dirty, nasty for doing these things. But it's like, okay, how can we move on from this better?
Right.
But I feel like, yeah, when you confess it, it really changed our lives, because we're like, wow, there really is freedom on the other end of it. I'm like, anybody can bring up porn at any moment, and I don't even flinch. I'm like, okay, period. Let's talk
Let's
about
talk
it.
about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You know, the really revealing question, you can ask yourself this maybe when y'all are with your friends. Ask this question of your pastor, of your leader, your small group, whatever. I'll ask you guys. Is there anything that would be irresponsible for you to confess? Just as a Christian, period. I'm not talking about as an influencer, but then that's the follow-up question.
Explain.
Irresponsible, like in a marriage? or-
Irresponsible. Yeah, let's just do it straight to the influencer. Do you feel like there's anything as a Christian that you could confess that you probably shouldn't?
That's great.
Like as from an influencer standpoint, I feel like there are things like about my past that I could go into depth about that people would be like,
Not a chance.
you cannot say that.
Not a chance.
It can like ruin the image that we create of ourselves.
Yep. Yep.
And if you ask, is there a pastor right now? Like if you go to church on Sunday and your pastor gets up there and is just saying, I am depressed right now. Does that disqualify him?
That's wild.
Is there anything that we can confess right now in this podcast that disqualifies us from where we are? What I'm saying is, in a carnal sense, in a secular sense, from a business sense, absolutely.
Right. But in what? But yeah.
But from like a biblical sense, like, yeah, again, everything ain't for everybody, and we can have like our actual accountability, people who can touch us, that we are in constant communication to, that we should be confessing to, that can actually hold us accountable. But I think that there's just more, I think there's more ways that we could just be more real. And the reason I'm saying this is, I think from an audience standpoint, we can make people feel really bad for not living up to the standards that we project that we don't even live up to. And we know that there's stuff that we can just go on there and say that just make people feel like, hey, I'm just like you. Like, I'm stepping off of that pedestal that you put me on and coming right down with you and then pointing to Christ.
Right.
Because we in this together. We growing together. So, I don't know. I just get really kind of pumped up about it because it's like, I know from our position, we got to have it all together. And we project that. And people think we have it all together. But the truth is, that's a lie. Right now, in this moment, Josh and Sav don't have it all together.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, I honestly think it's crazy that people even think that. Like, not that I'm like blind to it, but I try to like ignore the praise and like that you guys are so perfect, like you guys are this and that, because I'm like, no, like I don't like it.
But then it's like you go the route of, well, I don't want my content to just be all about negative, or like, because when we turn the camera on, 8 times out of 10 we're probably in a good mood, right. Or like not even a good mood, like we're fine. We're not dealing with the things that we deal with but then you'll have those sit down videos, or you'll have a podcast where you just want to be vulnerable and just say it. But like, my content isn't going to be that. It's going to be the negative, going to be I'm going to tell you this, how I'm feeling in this moment or whatever, because one thing that you've been saying is like, I'm not going to share stuff especially that I'm going through. And I'm not gonna speak.
We've
There's
done
a certain
that.
way that could be irresponsible.
Right.
Oh yeah, we've definitely been there. Like, we've shared things while we're like literally walking through it, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not okay to be
reading comments,
sharing this, and then like I'm over here like low key giving advice. But I'm like, whoa, this is all twisted because like I actually need your guys' help. Like, can someone help me? Like, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think,
it's wild.
Yeah.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm over here just making sure these cameras don't go. I'm like, me and Kaelin talk about
recording. I timed it so I knew. Like,
this. Come on now. We chilling. We good. Wow, that's great. I pray that this would spark a conversation in your house. No, like truly, like
no, and honestly, it did change our lives.
That's great.
Like, it really did.
Personally too, huh?
Oh yeah, because then I felt like it's weird because like trust was so broken, but then like, what is trust if you don't know the truth?
That's so good.
And so it really actually taught me what trust is, and then we went so much deeper because I'm like, wow, okay, he confessed to me and then I confessed to him, and yeah, it's not cute at first, like, it's ugly, there's conversations, there's tears, everyone, you kind of feel like, I don't even want to like live with you right now, like what's happening, but then you come back together and you figure out how you're going to move forward, and then those conversations are never uncomfortable again because it's like,
you've been there, done that.
Yeah, and
It may be uncomfortable, but
well, not in that way.
To tell the truth.
Not in that way. And I even told him too, like, I'm like, oh, if you came and like confessed kind of the same scenario to me, like, oh, I slipped up and I watched porn or I masturbated, I know that I would have a completely different reaction.
Right.
And I would, I think, have so much more of a graceful reaction. Approach.
Yeah.
Trust would still be broken and there'd still be consequences, like, of course. But I think it would be completely different just because our relationship is different.
Yeah. I feel like we can definitely like piggyback off of that because we like some of the worst, lowest moments like in our relationship, marriage, like it only makes you better.
It really
it's
does.
like so
Truly,
cheesy, I know, but
depending
I'm like
on how you handle it. Yeah.
Like, I'm so grateful for like the worst things we've been through because we wouldn't be where we are without it, and it just has made us closer.
Yeah.
Why do y'all think that people, I just want to know you guys' opinion. I think you guys have talked about this on your podcast, that like why people think marriage is just whack. People our age or people younger or whatever, because not that they're saying that it's whack, but I mean, you see on social media, people
don't want to get married.
They don't want to get married. They don't want to, and I know it's different, especially like if you're a Christian or whatever. But like, what do you say about to the people that are?
Because you open yourself up to be told that your husband's been watching porn and you're 4 months postpartum in a shower.
Right.
Like, who wants to sign up for a hurt like that?
Yeah.
And also, like, when you love someone deeply and vulnerably and, like, he knows everything about me. Like, you just open yourself up to, like, the greatest hurt you could ever experience in your life. And so I totally get why people are like, well, then also you have this responsibility, accountability to another person.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can't just go do whatever I want because I have a spouse and he has a say in what I do and how I behave in my life. Same vice versa.
Yeah, people
so
hear
I
that.
get why people don't want that, but I feel like, because we talked about this, I think a couple months ago, where it's like, I don't want to get like grim because sometimes we talk about like death and how that would be and stuff like that. But we're always just like, honestly, if something were to happen, like we know that we gave our all. Like we have loved each other like so raw and vulnerably and like the most real it can get for us. And like you can never regret that. Like if something were to happen to one of us or something like that, like we have experienced the greatest gift, I think, of marriage that you can possibly get. And so I always think the upside is better. Because I'm like, I know that I have been like loved unconditionally by my spouse, which I know a lot of people are trying to work to that, trying to get to that.
Right.
Some never get it. But I'm like, it's such a beautiful thing when you have it.
But when we talk like this, it don't seem like something people
It's
would
not attractive.
want.
No.
But I think that,
I'm like, how could you not want
we're like
it?
young.
I mean,
So
yeah.
we feel invincible. We feel like we're going to be young forever. And I just don't think that, sometimes the single people who aren't looking for relationships and feel like they don't need people, I personally think that they don't extrapolate singleness to its logical conclusion to the furthest extent.
the fullest,
So it's
yeah.
like, yeah, you want to be single right now, but if you don't find somebody within whatever period of time, would you really want to be single for the rest of your life? Like, do you really want to just be solo dolo for the rest of your life? And I'm just like, I know in this world now
Probably
with
not.
social media where it's so hard to make friendships and it's so
Yeah.
hard to find people. Like, it's hard to find your companion and people don't want to settle. I get that.
Nope.
But it's like, if you do, like if you're blessed enough to be able to find somebody that you can possibly make a relationship work with, and it doesn't look like being perfectly compatible. I don't even know what that means. I don't believe in that personally.
Well, and like we were talking earlier, like we're so opposite,
But like,
we
Yeah.
get along.
make
Yeah.
it
No,
work.
yeah, so
if
are
you're
we.
blessed enough to find somebody you can make it work with, you have a built-in lifelong partner, and that's like the Bible talks about. Man is not meant to be alone.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if y'all been alone for like extended periods of time. I honestly haven't. But even when
Same.
Kyrah go on vacation, you can call it codependency. I don't know.
Hey.
No, same.
I
Yeah.
don't like being alone. I hate sleeping alone. I'm like Drake. I hate
Hey,
sleeping alone. I can't. I don't want to do. I start thinking about porn. I'm just
Wait, hold on.
I gotta
Rewind
do
this
it.
episode.
No, and you bet when I get home, I'm like, so you got
Right.
anything to tell me?
She just be ruining the
when
whole
did you
vibe.
did you struggle?
Never.
That's silly. No, that's real though. And I think being opposites, because we're opposites. And can I be honest? It took me a minute to realize that we were opposites and like actually just come to terms with it. Because
Same. I feel like
dating, I'm like,
I feel like you try to make your partner look like you because it'll be easier.
Yeah.
Like if you could just be just like me, you would understand me.
oh, easily. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, we're in the same industry. Like she does this.
Yeah.
We like the same thing. Oh, we're compatible. Like this is my boo.
We're
Like,
soulmates.
we're soulmates. Like this
No,
is it.
literally, you think like, oh, it's destined,
That's
star-crossed
it.
lovers, like.
And then real stuff start happening.
And who cares if you like the same music?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
But do
This
y'all
man
think-
just said he's watching porn. I don't care what music he listens to.
But do y'all think that people change for their partners? Like, do y'all think that, like,
For them is such a strong word.
Oh, I think
but
they do.
I think yes. I mean, that's what marriage is. It's like that's not what it is. Like it's not changing, but you
Yeah.
are literally dying and you're becoming one with
Right.
somebody else. So I mean, to a certain extent, yes.
Well, I feel like that was like a struggle too, where I would try to be like the person he liked, but then it like was weird for me because I'm like, okay, well, how do you want me to behave? How do you want me to talk?
Yeah.
Where do you want me to put my stuff at? And you kind of become like a robot, and it's like, well, that's not good either.
No.
Like that was not good.
Well,
That was
in
not a good era
marriage-
for us either.
in marriage, it could be like, yeah, I guess, yeah, in any relationship. What I'm talking about mostly, though, is like there's somebody right now who's dating some dude or some girl who they're saying, man, this person, my partner, has all these great qualities, but if I can just change this about him,
Yeah.
it'll be perfect. And it's
Grass
just like,
is greener syndrome.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it is fair to try and change people.
No.
Like,
Well, I don't think you're gonna get every single 10 out of 10 aspect of a person. I just don't think people like that exist.
Like,
No.
do y'all feel like y'all have changed anything about each other? Like, I'm wearing these shoes right now. I don't even really like, but Kyrah like them.
Can I rock with them?
Yeah, like
100%.
I think little things like that for sure, but I agree with you that like if Josh like changed something major about me, or if I felt like I had to change something major, then I would just end up resenting him because I'd be like, wait, I didn't even want to do that, or like I don't even, that's not even actually me.
Right.
So I feel like little like style things or like just fun like silly things like that, and I think that's fine. But I don't think like major things about you should change.
Like the superficial can change.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I've had to tell Kyrah like, hey, I am this way, and I am not changing in certain things. Like, I'm not going to. Okay, if I'm like a direct speaker,
Okay.
I can learn to be like more gentle, but I'm not gonna become just super passive. Like if I'm a natural leader,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just stop.
Same.
So it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not
But
changing
for
that about me.
TBH, you really did kind of change.
Well, I can become.
When we were
I
dating,
can grow in those areas.
when we were dating, I remember his dad like popped off on him in the kitchen because he was like, and this wasn't even about me, but he was telling Kaelin like, you cannot talk to everybody the same. Like you lost your mind. Like you cannot just go to every single person and be like, boop, 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 this is how it is. And then we got married, and I'm like, do you remember when your dad told you that? Because I feel like that really applies. Like I'm very like soft spoken, and like you really don't need to like yell at me to get your point across, which you never did.
Yeah, I'm
But, like you don't
yelling.
need to be. I just mean like when I'm like growing up, like how my parents were and
right.
stuff. Like I really didn't get yelled at, anything like that. So I'm like, you don't have to be like, I am a leader and I am masculine and you like do this or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you just don't need to talk to everybody the same.
Well, again, it's growing. Like I'm a natural challenger, but
Oh, gosh.
it's like if you
Any
a
hit.
hammer, and that's all you is. Everything is a nail. So
Yeah.
I can learn to just be challenging sometimes
Great.
when it's appropriate. So it's like developing, getting more tools in the toolbox, and then applying to different situations.
Yeah.
But it's like there's just certain things about me that I wouldn't change because I wouldn't be who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like God made a mistake. Like we always talk about it where it's like we don't like sometimes when people will come up to us and act like we're broken, and they'll pity us, and they'll just be like, God has so much more for you in this area. And it's just like, if I'm
What if he
always
doesn't?
thinking
Yeah.
that I need to be more, or
Doing
that there's
more,
more
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
and I'm never content where I am.
Come on.
Like, what if I'm just going to have this thorn? It's not me being defeated. It's just like, on this side of heaven, I'm not going to be perfected.
Yeah.
So, like, stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I used to think being like how emotional I was like
I was literally just gonna
the
say that.
biggest flaw of life. Like I have to get it together. Like I need to be more this way because other women are that way. And it's like, well, okay, yes, like there definitely is a way that I feel like I could handle my emotions in a better way that is more controlled without like lashing out on people or like literally making myself sick, like not able to eat because I'm so emotional. To be like, okay, actually God made me with like a beautiful range of emotions, and it's okay. But like, how can I be sanctified in this area? But it's not that anything's wrong with me.
Yeah. Kaelin, I can fully admit to that emotional thing. Like I used to, and she would probably feel this way because how I reacted to when she would like cry or go through something where I'm just like,
Like, why are you
Why are you
crying?
doing that or whatever? And in the very beginning, I would literally straight up say like, what are you crying for? Like, what is the point of you doing that? And now we have these conversations and I see it, and I feel like you would have thought that's why you thought that something was wrong with
With
being
me, yeah,
emotional.
same thing. Like I felt like I needed to just like not cry.
Yeah.
Like I need to figure out how can I
Not let
handle
situations
this.
affect me that way.
yeah, like I need to just literally just figure out how I can not cry.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was gonna say the exact same thing you just said. Like God made you that way, and like that's can be something beautiful. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, and it's literally not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to want to, like, change that.
Definitely
You did
same.
too. Yeah.
Because, like, I grew up being super, like, overly emotional. Like, I'm a cry baby. Like, I cried a lot growing up. So I think, though, that I cried a lot because I wasn't able to, like, express myself any other way. So I probably now overcompensate by, like, talking too much and oversharing. But to me, that's how I liberated myself and was able to, like, let what was happening internally. I was able to finally express it. Like, I have words for these big emotions now.
Right.
So I wanted Kyrah to, like, grow in that too.
Yeah.
But in my wanting her to grow in that, it was kind of this assumption that, or this like assumption / base belief that there was something wrong with her just having emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
Which I definitely did need to get a grip, like for sure. Like,
No,
it
me
was
too. Me
ridiculous.
too.
but if you never over communicate your emotions, there's nothing wrong with that.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just accepting that we're different and just learning how to communicate and also listen and be quiet and not try and fix everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this was very encouraging. This was encouraging for us. And I know
Definitely.
for us, I did not even try to do that on purpose.
Oh, I didn't even
That was
notice. I
kinda
didn't even
cold.
notice.
I ain't gonna hold you. That was cold. But no, we could talk for so long.
No, literally, we
and
could
go for another hour.
we
we can keep going.
for
We can keep it
another
going.
hour, but I just want to thank you guys for coming on here and just forget just this podcast, but just being vulnerable and sharing you guys' lives on social media, in your books, in your newsletters, in your community, everything that you guys do, because I know it inspires, it encourages people, it convicts people. Like
Thank you.
It's needed. It's needed, and the
There's
type
not
of,
people doing it
no,
either.
at
Yeah.
all. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We love y'all too. I don't know what we gonna do, how long this gonna be, but this was fun. You got anything?
We're
I know you
long-winded.
hate when I say that.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
You got something in your teeth.
Are you?
It's a tiny black
You're
though.
lying.
No, I'm dead serious. It's a tiny black though. But look, see how
Babe.
far that camera is? They can't see it. It's good. You good?
Oh, right here.
Yeah, see, tiny.
But why wouldn't you tell me that
I'm just now telling you.
at the end?
All right, I
You
love
almost
you.
out of
All
room,
right,
so.
okay. All right, y'all. We love you guys, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.